After some arguing, the cops lost patience and shot during Claire's job interview. Jacek thought they were crazy. This was all in Jacek's perfect plan. Soon, the middleman drove Claire for repairs, with Jacek tailing like in a stalker drama. Eventually, in an abandoned factory, he met the program fixer, who straightforwardly whipped out a nuclear battery like it was the secret sauce for world domination. He asked the fixer to check the robot chip that the cops gave a warm reception to. Despite the challenge, the mechanic was charmed and agreed to help soon. The response? The robot came down from the tree. Jacek felt like he got struck by lightning and rushed. Unknown to him, his every move was monitored by top brass, and the mechanic's message was intercepted. "Please take care of it, sir," the mechanic said. Jacek strolled back to the factory and was jaw-dropped to see Claire doing some DIY head repairs. Subtitles: the mechanic simply implanted a chip into Claire's body, unexpectedly resulting in a transformer moment that left both of them utterly astonished. The doorbell rang. The mechanic opened the door, saw Claire, relaxed, then heard, "There's another." Jacek was out all there faster than a cat at a dog show. He bolted outside and saw a car about to start. Without thinking, he jumped in, only to discover it was Claire at the wheel. Faced with the pursuit, Claire was totally chill and hit the gas like she was in Fast and Furious, speeding off. Tipped over, but hey, it worked. The pursuers had become the modern-day version of Cars Mayhem. Morning rolled around, and Jacek was still passed out, while Claire was like a cool robot, casually fixing herself up. Claire, remembering Jacek, finished repairs and called in a trio of robots for rescue. After a while, Jacek finally woke up from his stupor, feeling like he was being dragged around like a heavy-duty tow truck. He saw 4 robots dragging him around, surrounded by an endless desert, feeling like he'd landed in Castaway. Spotting the mute robots ready to journey on, Jacek panicked and whipped out his ID to get them to stop. Robots, however, were not having it, claiming they would take him to a totally safe place, leading him straight into the barren void. Jacek decided to go rogue and head back to the city, but just a few steps in, he collapsed again. He resurfaced in the dead of night, and Claire was still strict about the first rule, using a makeshift device to store water for him. But that water was just enough to keep him from dehydrating, and Claire even thoughtfully prepared some bugs as a gourmet meal. Little did she know that humans and bugs don't exactly mix well in the dining department. To expedite his way back to the city, Jacek feigned illness and quickly dumped the bugs while sneakily hiding a flare gun. He messaged the cooperating cops for help and obediently followed the robots down the path. When he felt the timing was right, he made a grand excuse of humans need to pee and snuck around the corner to fire a flare. Jacek was thrilled as the cops, while he pulled a stunt, arrived just in time with backup. However, his happiness only lasted for a single second as the police wrongly believed he had betrayed humanity and were about to take action. As the police pointed their guns at Jacek, the robot stood firm on principle, but the cops shot without a second thought. Another robot bravely stepped up next, only to meet the same fate. Claire adhered to principle and stepped forward without fear. At that moment, Jacek shot a flare at a cop, thinking, "Time to use my skills to save my skin." The cop yelped and went silent, while his panicked buddies scattered like roaches in the light. Despite the fact that Jacek pleaded to be taken back, they refused to do so. Knowing he'd be labeled a traitor if he didn't return, Jacek pleaded with the robots again for a ride back. Subtitles, but they were so preoccupied with dismantling their companion that they didn't listen at all. Jacek felt completely hopeless. "What are we doing? Oh my God," he cried out in despair, only to see the robots march away, leaving him in total emotional ruins. Realizing he couldn't escape the desert on sheer will, Jacek was filled with trepidation. They reassured him that they'd reached their destination by morning and that he'd find some ride to get back home. Together, they trekked towards the destination, pumping Jacek up with excitement. Soon, they reached their goal, and the pioneer Claire spoke of was within arm's reach. When Jacek pulled back the cloak, he was floored to find it was another robot, the so-called Pioneer. Unwilling to accept this, Jacek frantically searched for signs of humans, but silence was all he got. Turns out, this Pioneer was actually the first awakened robot, quietly plotting some great scheme. His table was cluttered with parts, and Jacek finally realized that all the robot parts led to this unholy gathering. And even more robots had already awakened, while humans remained blissfully ignorant. This despair hit Jacek hard. He thought humans really are losing like amateurs. As he turned to leave, the Pioneer directed the others, rapidly assembling the parts like a mad scientist. Subtitles, however, when they were halfway through the assembly, they came to a halt because they were short of a nuclear battery for the driver program, and it turned out that Claire had one right in her hand. The subtitles reveal the Pioneer located Jacek, hoping he would hand over the battery to them, yet Jacek ruthlessly refused their request. Jacek put forth his own conditions, believing that he had come up with a foolproof plan, but unfortunately the moment had already passed. Oh, by the way, if you are eager to see even more crazy plots like this, make sure not to forget to subscribe to our channel.